Local authorities often mount trail cameras or scout cameras in the woods in order to monitor wildlife in the area and also for security purposes. Besides that, hunters can use these to monitor game, and even scientists and wildlife researchers can take advantage of trail cam footage for research and analysis. Just like CCTV cameras, these are also pretty simple to install, and they don't need frequent maintenance either. You just need to strategically place them in a location where you think lots of animal activity occurs. Setting up feeders in the vicinity of a camera is a good way to attract more of them. While most of the trail cam feeds are just regular monotonous recordings of the wilderness and animals, sometimes people end up finding strange and bizarre things in the footage as well. Oblivious to the camera's eye watching them, animals tend to behave quite mysteriously at times, and thankfully the trail cams capture these odd actions. Today, we're going to show you some of the most unexpected and extraordinary trail cam captures no one was supposed to see, so make sure you watch until the end. Number 1. Bear fight. Who knew animals also don't like anyone trespassing into their property? Just take a look at these two huge bears who are fighting over a small area of ground. The aggressive exchange between the two bears, one black and one blonde, would be caught on a trail cam. It's quite evident that the blonde one is dominating the fight, and in order to avoid being hit by its enemy, the black bear tries hiding behind a tree. Black bears are ferocious creatures capable of killing a human effortlessly, but generally the American black bear tends to avoid interactions with humans, unlike the grizzly bears that are legendary, frightening creatures feared by most people. Black bears, on the other hand, are rarely considered a threat despite the fact that they inhabit the same regions as their scarier relatives. When confronted by people, the American black bear just imitates assaults, makes noises, and smacks the ground with their paws to avoid fighting. But because black bears massively outnumber brown bears, their attacks on humans are more prevalent in North America than the brown bear attacks. The violent behavior of a black bear is mostly triggered by hunger instead of territorial dispute, but in this case, these two bears are trying to beat each other up over territory, and I'd definitely like to know which one of them won the fight. Number 2. Sasquatch. Sasquatch, or as pop culture often calls it, Bigfoot, is a tall, hairy, upright walking monster that looks a lot like an ape. According to most of the legends, it lives deep within the woods. A man named Corey Goodman shared a video on YouTube in May of 2019 claiming that he had captured evidence of a Bigfoot sighting in the woods of Laramie, Wyoming. According to Corey, the video would be shot nearly 15 miles south of Laramie. In the footage, a tall, dark, and hairy creature walks on two legs and can be seen going across a clearing amongst the surrounding trees. It turns for a moment to look at something and then walks away, only to vanish into the woods. The people who recorded the video had actually gone out to film the big boy steam engine when they came face to face with this supposed monster. No one really knows whether this clip is authentic or not. It could be a hoax or just a random person walking amongst the trees. Between the 1970s and the 1990s, local farmers reported multiple accounts of Bigfoot harassing and even murdering people in the Green Emerald Triangle area. Bigfoot was also held responsible for the deaths of 3 migrant laborers back in 1993, but the Hulu documentary titled Sasquatch would reveal that such claims are used by criminal drug operators to frighten away their rivals and competition. But it also comes down to people, along with incompetent law enforcement, that are responsible for high rates of crime in the area. Number 3. UFO lights. The disturbing footage from a trail camera recently went viral online and sparked a lot of controversy. In the video, a pair of strange round lights can be seen looming above the head of a deer in the darkness. These lights were not a one-time event. Instead, they would be captured over the course of an entire week. Most of the alien enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists are now claiming that this is the footage of a UFO sighting. But the camera manufacturers have revealed the real reason behind these eerie lights. After all, they get to see thousands of the things. Boyd Barnett, marketing and advertising manager at Moultrie Products in Alabama, along with many others, have argued that these lights in the shot are just the reflections of a deer's eyes bouncing around inside the infrared camera. Now, they think that the image is quite overexposed, so much so that it seems as if the deer is looking out towards the lights though it's actually only staring into the camera. The ghostly haze that's seen in the footage can also be attributed to that effect. However, this theory has failed to convince Rainer Shadows, a person who installed these cameras on his property in Mississippi. Number 4. Goon or Dryad. Now, we've seen those CCTV and trail cam footage compilations, the ones where people have spotted semi-transparent ghosts or even invisible entities moving heavy objects. And believe it or not, the visible things can often be much more frightening than the invisible ones. For instance, take a look at this image. The abnormally tall and bulky guy wearing a mask can be seen wandering in the woods. He's also carrying a machete in one hand. This would be captured by a trail camera of a hunter who had installed it to keep an eye on wildlife in the woods that was close to his house. The masked machete man seems to be unaware that a camera is watching him. Otherwise, he probably would have avoided getting so close to it. No one really knows why he was in the woods and what he was doing there on the night that this photo was taken, but from his appearance, it's evidence that he was up to no good. Some people on the internet thought that it wasn't actually a person. In fact, they believe the man to be an image of a dryad. Dryads, or tree spirits, are mythical creatures, and the dryad is the name that's given to these tree nymphs of oak trees, and now it's become a common term used to refer to all kinds of tree nymphs and human tree hybrids. But no one can say for sure whether this guy was a criminal, a mythical creature, or just a cosplayer who got lost in the woods. Number 5. Demon chases a deer. This picture's been making the rounds on the internet since 2005, but every few years or so it becomes a topic of discussion because of how unsettling and scary it is. There's many different backstories that are associated with the image, from Jersey Devil to Chupacabra and just plain old demon. All kinds of names have been assigned to this freakishly horrifying creature that's been seen in many security and trail cam videos. Most recently, a trail cam from Canada captured this crazy image. It was uploaded on a hunting forum, and the devilish creature chasing a deer had glowing eyes, pointed claws, and what looked like wings jutting out of its back. Most viewers thought that it looked like Chupacabra, a Latin American mythological monster who was first sighted in Puerto Rico. It's called the Chupacabra because it's a vampiric evil creature that attacks and drinks the blood of animals. According to reports, some people compared it to a dog, while others say that it looks more like a reptilian alien. However, there's no consensus, so it's hard to say whether the thing chasing the deer in the image is a Chupacabra or not. Number 6. Creepy clown. While the majority of strange behaviors that are caught on trail cameras are that of animals, there are a few fortunate cameras that do manage to film weird people as well. But this viral trail camera footage shows a bloated, colorful clown approaching the camera. The bizarre-looking clown has rainbow-colored hair, and his face is painted with makeup that looks freakish instead of funny. Hunters usually install game cameras in the woods to monitor animal activity, and these are usually installed up in the trees to capture pictures or videos when they detect any movement. The media in these cameras is then stored on an SD or micro SD card. The trail cam photographs of the angry-looking circus performer have been shared on the internet for a while now, but there's been no explanation as to why this mysterious clown even approached the camera in the first place. No one knows what he was doing in the woods, but most people think that it may have been a prank. What do you think? Let me know about it in the comments down below. Number 7. Mystery creature. Motion sensor cameras installed outside of a zoo in Texas would catch this mysterious creature frolicking about in the darkness. Zoo staff and Texas officials are having a hard time figuring out who or even what it was because the footage is shot from a distance. They're not able to make out the features of it. It definitely doesn't look human to most internet users. Some people have suggested that it could be the infamous Chupacabra, while others just think that it's a strange old man who's out for a walk at night. There were few people who thought that it may have been an escaped coyote that was walking on its hind legs, with other theories being a bit more absurd, which includes speculations that it could be a wolf-man hybrid or a drunk man with an owl perched on his back. A trail camera was installed here for security purposes. The local authorities shared that the camera only shoots footage when it detects motion, and they also explained that whatever this creature was, it remained outside of the Amarillo Zoo, and there were no signs of breaking and entering. No animals or staff members were harmed, and there was also no sign of criminal activity or vandalism. It just simply seems that the authorities are as confused by this creature as anyone else is, and they've jokingly named it the UAO, or Unidentified Amarillo Object. Number 8. Massive Moth. This footage captured by a doorbell camera could be an abnormally large moth or even a fairy. The camera was installed outside of a house in England. The homeowner, Alicia, was away at the time as she was visiting relatives. Suddenly, the security system of her home sent her into an alert that something was moving outside of her house. According to Alicia, she first thought that the weird flying creature outside of her door was a fairy, but then she realized how far-fetched it was and tried finding a moth or other animal that looked like the mysterious creature that was filmed by her door cam. She was unable to find anything that remotely looked like the flying entity. Her family was quite convinced it was in fact a fairy. One of her sons had coincidentally lost a tooth just when this supposed fairy had decided to pay them a visit, so the little guy was pretty excited about this creature being the Tooth Fairy. Although it's highly unlikely that it was a fairy and not just a regular moth, the residents of the house think a little bit of magic wouldn't harm anyone. Number 9. Beaver Eating Tree. Now, we all know that beavers build dams, but where do they obtain the tree logs and the wood for building these structures? Well, this mind-blowing footage from a trail cam shows us exactly how they do it. Beavers will gradually gnaw on trees like the one that you can see in the video. The trunk of the tree eventually gets more and more thin until it gives completely away. However, it's not always a slow process. Beavers are capable of bringing down 8-foot-tall trees in less than 5 minutes, and with the tree falls, they use its wood to build the dams. This cute little beaver in the video seems engrossed in his work, proving that the statement, "busy as a beaver," is in fact true. How long do you think it took this beaver to bring down the tree it can be seen biting? Number 10. Antlers Shedding. Another adorable animal would be captured doing something most of us have never seen before. We've all come across a deer or two in the wilderness, but did you know that the magnificent animals shed their antlers on an annual basis? This video from a trail camera actually recorded a deer shedding its antlers. In fact, in the beginning of the video, you can see that the deer approached the camera with just one antler on its head. It then decided to get rid of the other one as well. The deer can be seen shaking its head, and soon enough, the other antler also falls off. The antler shedding process can last to about 2 to 3 weeks, and they were going to fall off eventually, but the hasty deer probably wasn't happy with how it looked with only one antler, so it decided to do something about it. The natural shedding happens when the testosterone levels fall in the deer's body. This low T causes weakening of the bones and lowering of the blood supply to the antlers until no blood is reaching them at all, and thus causes them to shed. Number 11. Alien or Monster. This creepy trail cam video doesn't come with a whole lot of background information. It would be uploaded on a Spanish-speaking YouTube channel. The description of the video says that a witch was found crying on a strange road. The frightening creature visible in the footage looks no less than a witch from a horror movie. Alien enthusiasts, though, think that it's an extraterrestrial being that had simply gotten lost in the woods. Most people, well, they don't buy either of those stories and think that it's just a clickbait hoax. The crying noise in the video is also quite unsettling, and a comment under the original video says that it's a faker than Santa Claus bringing gifts for politicians. Another smart viewer explained that the crying sound would be taken from a game called Left 4 Dead, while the witch in the video also looks a lot like the witch from the same game. Now, I sure do hope that it's fake, because if there's the slightest possibility of running into such a terrifying creature in the wilderness, I am never going camping or hiking again. Number 12. Camouflaged Dancer. Among all the trail cam captures of the creepy otherworldly creatures and wild animals, there's this one incredibly cute video that will make your day. Sometimes even the bravest of hunters feel like having a little bit of fun. The trail cam video shows an exceptionally well camouflaged hunter who probably noticed the camera and decided to goof around. He made the most of the spotlight, and he'd probably be surprised to know that the footage of him dancing for the trail cam was actually shared on TikTok and then went viral. He probably couldn't resist showing off his moves. I mean, after all, dance is good for both the body and the mind. It's an incredibly fun way to stay fit, just like cardio that improves your cardiovascular health. Research has also shown that dancing boosts cognitive performance. It maintains and even improves your thinking ability as you age. This guy must be aware of all the benefits of dance, therefore decided to stage a performance for the trail cam in the wilderness. Number 13. Little Ghost Girl. The small town of Cambridge, located in the state of New York, is where this footage of a little girl was caught on tape deep inside the woods. She shows a cranky expression on her face, and the new landowners in the town had set up a game camera in the woods. They were hoping to hunt some deer and wanted to know whether this area was a route that was taken by many people or not. But to their amazement, the camera captured something they had not expected: a picture of a little girl playing in the woods. The photo reports that it was a little ghost girl playing in the wilderness and has spooked out a lot of people. No one knows who she is. The president of a local paranormal research group has stated that they've come across a lot of paranormal activity in this area previously as well. According to local legend, a little girl, almost the same age as the one who's seen in the image, was killed while playing on the train tracks one day that ran through the area. An old man has also come forward claiming that the girl in the footage is his granddaughter, but there's no hard proof that he's actually telling the truth. So far, the girl remains unidentified from the image, and it's hard to tell whether she's a real person or in fact a ghost. Number 14. A delicious trap. The classic peanut butter and jelly sandwich is an all-time favorite for children and adults alike, but did you know that some animals also find this delicious treat quite addictive? The smooth, creamy flavor of peanuts is a great attraction for a lot of wild animals these days. Someone saw a trapper and hunter use peanut butter to lure in small critters online and decided to test it on bigger animals in the woods. They put up what looks like a mountain of peanut butter and jelly in the woods close to a trail camera and just left it for a few days. The footage from the camera was surprising to say the least. As it turns out, deer also love peanut butter as much as we do. In fact, bears and raccoons, well, they seem to be fans as well. The peanut butter pile attracted all kinds of animals who thoroughly enjoyed the treat. And one thing's for sure, peanut butter can now be used as bait, as it's easy to obtain, cheap, and the animals love it. Number 15. Extinct animal. Remember when I said that trail cams are a great asset for scientists and researchers as well? Well, here's some proof that supports that statement. This mouse deer was captured foraging for food on a trail cam that was close to camera traps that were set up in a forest in Vietnam. Their name is a little misleading as they're not mice or deer. In fact, the smallest hooved animal. It's almost the size of a rabbit and is also called the silver-backed chevrotain. This is an exciting breakthrough as it's the first sighting of this animal since the last confirmed sighting almost 30 years ago. This half-painted beast has a rust-colored head, neck, and front legs, but the rest of the body is silver gray. The leopard, wild dogs, and pythons are known for preying upon these small creatures, but scientists believe that it's the traps that are laid down by hunters that have led to the species going on the brink of extinction. They've installed 3 camera traps in a forest in southern Vietnam to capture footage of the dwindling species, and over 5 months, they were able to capture 275 images of the animal. Scientists classify these as 72 separate events, but it's still unclear of how many of these mouse deers were actually photographed, but scientists are enthusiastic about protecting these remaining members of the species. Have you ever captured something strange or unreal on one of your security cameras? If so, tell us all about it in the comments down below.